Hey guys, my name is Brad Davis. I'm here today on the Beyond the Close podcast and I'm about to hit my targets. And the target is the bullseye, right?
The target's the bullseye, man. Oh!
Is it close?
Dude!
Let's see. Oh!
Close.
That's
I
very
think
close.
that might be the best that we've had.
Yeah. Number one.
I'm pretty sure it's
1 out of 6. Oh.
well done. Brad Davis, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's good to be here.
Mate, it's great to see you, and mate, those teeth, the tan, it's all looking, man. You're really embracing the Queensland lifestyle.
I'm trying to, mate. These teeth are a Bali special, so they're still attached. So I'm happy about that.
So, mate, tell us the story. When did you go to Bali, and what was the teeth journey like?
Mate, the teeth journey. So I never really paid much attention to my teeth. I was never one that was needing to get anything done, really. I didn't have the most perfect teeth. But the missus, we were kind of looking into it, and I had to get a little bit of work done, a couple of crowns fixed, nothing too serious. And the missus said, have you ever thought about getting veneers? It's probably just a really polite way of saying, mate, you should probably fix your teeth. But, mate, started looking into it and got quotes for veneers, 28 grand in Queensland. And I thought, even if I'd got the money to spend that on my teeth, it's not really something I want to invest in. I'd like getting some money back from money that I put in somewhere.
Some ROI.
Like some ROI. So, mate, looked in Bali. I was talking to a mate and he had known some people that went to Bali, had a really good experience with it. Got a quote over there as 5 grand, 5,500. So it's a difference of, quite substantial, 20 odd grand difference. Mate, so I went, let's do it. So went over to Bali over 10 days, had 3 different appointments because it's quite a process of getting your teeth ground down and veneers on top. Mate, but it was smooth. It all went really well. And mate, I'd recommend it. I'd recommend people to go to Bali. They're not paying me for this, the company, but they should be.
Oh, mate, we'll drop the link at the bottom of the podcast. Now, do you have any photos of where you had the ground down teeth? Did you get any pics?
Yeah.
How did that look?
I thought it was going to be worse because the amount of grinding they were doing in my mouth, I'm thinking, what are they doing to me, man? What have I done? What have I got myself into? But I asked to take a photo and they were, in Bali, if you've been to Bali, they're happy and smiley and let you do basically whatever you want. So I took the selfie and by the time I saw it, they were pretty like a lot smaller and ground down, but probably not as bad as what I thought. But mate, I don't know, the final product, like pretty happy with the final product. Again, I was never one that was, not wanted to smile or show my teeth because they were never terrible. But I must say, there's a bit more of a wanting to smile and not show them off, but just more comfort and confidence that comes with it as well. So I think it was 5.5 grand spent well.
Well, you've got a spring in your step, and this, some viewers might sort of be surprised, but today's session's not really about teeth. So, but I'm so super happy for you, mate, because they're working for you. They look sharp, and
thanks, bro.
Gonna have to explore it. Might have to get your Bali contact.
Yeah, click the link in the
bio. I'm gonna have to do that myself.
Use my code.
Yep, at the checkout.
Yeah.
Man, welcome to the potty, and the real reason I wanted you to get on the potty is ex-fitness transitioned into you've been a business owner, so you've owned gyms, you've had quite a substantial team in fitness, you became a business coach. We sort of met, was it 4 years ago, 5 years ago, when you just moved to Queensland, and then soon after that, transitioning into high ticket sales, remote sales. I remember the story of where we were first having this chat was on the golf course, as all good, stories begin on the golf course.
Yeah.
And I think I just piped a shot 300 metres down the middle.
I think that was me, mate. But anyway, continue on with the story.
Okay. All right, maybe I'd shank one out the line. That probably sounds a bit more like me. But we were chatting about what you were doing at the time. You were selling. You were kind of working for a company. You were selling as well. And you were in a position where, I think you were going and running an event. You were facilitating an event, you were presenting at the event, you then had a small kind of upsell, and then you had a whole follow-up process to generate a lead to get on a sales call to then close a deal. And when I kind of was chatting about the role, the inbound sort of funnel and the team that I was running, and I think I was talking about a closer of mine that was having a bit of a whinge. He was having a bit of a whinge because his calendar wasn't full of highly qualified leads. And so here you were, great golfer, but also not expecting to get your calendar full of leads. You're actually going, running events, facilitating events, in different towns, selling a low ticket product, following up the leads to then get a strategy session for yourself to close that deal. And it was quite a funny little interaction we had, because I was like, man, I've got this closer who's just whinging because his calendar's not full today, and he expects his calendar to be full every day. And I remember we had a laugh, but you were like, hang on, what's going on here? So that was the first kind of exposure that you had to the inbound sort of environment, man. So talk us through journey from gym owner to then coach to then getting into sales, and then you're moving into the remote sales environment.
Yeah, so I mean, it depends how far back you want to go, but I guess I've been in business for a while. So 18 years in business, started in the trade industry, just wasn't passionate about that. And I think that's a really important thing to have with what you do, right? No matter what it is. So got out of that industry, ran a good business, but got out of the industry, got into fitness, and fitness is where I wanted to be. So I was passionate about it and started as a personal trainer. As you would know, split shift, early start, late finishes. You got to be passionate about that to be successful in it. So there was a lot of great learnings through that stage of being a personal trainer, and a lot of great learnings and lessons and mistakes. I was one of the lucky ones that stuck with it and was able to make a career out of it. And then with where I wanted to go, I knew I needed to grow and scale. So I got myself some education, some business education and guidance. Went from a solo PT doing 60-odd, 70-odd sessions a week and just totally burnt out to there's got to be more than this. There must be something I'm missing to getting that education, then building a team of personal trainers. So I had a team of, I guess when it was peaking in after 3 years after this journey, I had a team of 9 trainers, had my own facility. So through that kind of 3 years, got myself some business education, learnt all the systems and processes that were necessary to run a business like that. Grew a great team. They were epic. Got myself a gym and fell in love with that process of growing a business. Fell in love with the process of, you can learn this system and learn this strategy and implement it there, and that's the results that you get, and then that one's working well. So then you move over to this side of the business and work there. I fell in love with that whole process. So through that journey, I guess, of 4 or 5 years of being a personal trainer and then, getting stuck in that glass ceiling of 60, 70 sessions a week, and then moving into, becoming a team leader, 9 personal trainers into the gym, fell in love with business, then got into business coaching because that was what I was really passionate in at the time. I was thinking, if I could learn how to do this and then teach other people how to do it, that's really where I want to be. So that was kind of the step-by-step snapshot sequence of personal trainer right the way through business owner, team builder, into a business coaching, which is what I'm doing currently.
Gotcha, man. And when we were on the golf course, you were selling as well. So you were selling your services as a business coach, and to sort of generate the leads that you were, selling to for your services, you had a whole process that you went through. And so, at that time, which was probably back in 21, I think it was around 21, 22.
Yeah, correct.
21.
Yeah.
You were selling via that method, and the money that we were talking about in terms of the high ticket space at the time for you, it was something that was really quite appealing for you. And you were like, how do I get involved in this? And so then we kind of got you into the high ticket space. I think you started as doing appointment setting. You learnt how to database prospect in the environment. You then, became a closer, which you were very good at from the start because of your experience. So maybe talk us through the journey from at that point in time when you were having to sell sort of face-to-face and going through that whole process of having to generate your own leads. So then coming to the environment where you've got leads coming into a database.
Yeah, what a change of circumstance that was. You're right, Christo, going from, having to generate my own leads and doing that through multiple generation systems, right? Like social media, referrals, small business networking, going out and doing these presentations for companies or for myself, trying to generate leads that way. And then, not everyone's going to be red hot. So then you're kind of filtering through that, trying to book calls and then going from there. So, and then having the conversation with you on the golf course and, hearing what some of the people were complaining about being calendar not full. I'm thinking, man, how good, what a terrible problem that is. I feel so sorry for them. Are they going to be okay?
Yeah. Check in on them.
Yeah, absolutely. To then having that conversation with you and being, dude, I need to get myself involved in this. I want to learn more about it. I think that's the thing for me, just learning, going into something new and different. But coming from the background of having to source my own leads, going into the environment of, being a closer and having those leads qualified and booked into your calendar, man, what a change that was. I just thought it was heaven. I just thought I was on a holiday having this calendar booked out of warm leads, So I'm really thankful from where I came from, because I think that's what really helped me become a closer and enjoy the process of being a closing and being really grateful of the setters and the work that I do. But kind of circling back to that setters role, again, what a great position to start in, because you learn how to go through the database, and what you taught me, Christo, you learn how to go through the database and search for the hot leads and create these lists and effectively how to work really smart. You need to work hard in some instances, but how to work really smart and get the most ROI on your time that you invest into the database. So that was really great. And then evolving into a closer. The money was the thing for me, right? The money was attractive for me, and going into that space and earning that money and enjoying it because of my background and just being appreciative of a calendar full of leads was, mate, that whole journey. I'm still to this day really thankful for being, get to be a part of it and get to be on that journey and all the learnings that I got with it. Mate, what a, even looking back and talking about it now, it's a really cool thing to reflect on.
It was a fun ride, man. You came in, and we were friends before this, and it was great to see you being able to get into a role which you were earning where you wanted to earn, which was, what was your best month in earnings when you were in the high ticket role?
36 grand.
Very specific.
Yeah. I don't have it on my wall, just visualize it every day. Morning routine, tattooed on the back of my head. No, it's 36 grand, but been in business for a long time, you can make 36 grand months, but a lot of that's gone to your team or rent for the gym premises or marketing or whatever. This 36 grand, essentially the vast majority was mine.
Was in your back pocket.
Was in my back pocket, yeah. And
you were able to buy property, so you bought a property up on the sunny coast.
Yep.
And you've established your life up there now?
Yep. Bought a property. Me and my partner live up on the sunny coast, mate, and it's changed everything. It's. I guess I love money, but it's the power that you get and the opportunity that you get from money, and that's what I really got from this closing experience. Having that money in your back pocket and being able to buy a property and being able to travel and being able to, there's a couple of opportunities happening on the sunny coast at the moment that I'm literally able to go and look into and make the decision if I want to do because of, the opportunity that I had in sales and closing.
Awesome, man. So on this podcast, I love to unpack, the sales process, the sales career, and sort of get some insights into that. So moving from fitness, you were selling fitness, then you were selling business coaching, and then you started selling a so a business opportunity in the real estate space. Talk us through the kind of nuances in the sales process. What did you find that was different from, belly to belly fitness sales, then moving into, like a remote role where you're on the phone to someone who's just clicked a Facebook ad and you sort of pitching a high value product? What did you find with the differences?
Yeah, I think there's a few differences, but the thing that pops into my mind first is being able to build a relationship really quick and get there, allow them to feel safe and like they're not being sold to. In the fitness industry, I was having those face-to-face meetings, and my first thing was make them feel comfortable, and I would try to get them to like me, right? If someone could like me and we could build a relationship, I'm in a really good position for them to join my gym or personal training. And that kind of led into the business coaching space as well. And then when you get put on, a closer in the deal that I was in, multiple deals, and you were essentially trying to close on that first call without having that relationship, that was a big difference and something that I felt really uncomfortable with at the start, because I'm thinking, how do I sell to this person? I don't even know them. They don't trust me. There must be a whole heap of skill set that I'm missing here, because face to face, selling fitness and personal training, I could have that, I could build that relationship, but it was so different in that space. So I think that was probably the biggest difference for me, to answer your question, and then learning the skills of, you know, how to essentially do that and achieve that within that first call would be some of the greatest learnings that I was able to learn through that time.
Yeah, it's quite a brutal change from being in person, where you say a lot of salespeople, myself included, and you, we rely on relationship, we rely on being likable, rapport, and it's easy to do that in face-to-face environment, especially when you're the business owner or the product. If you're selling yourself, if you're selling yourself as a PT, or you know, your business, or if you're the business owner and you're selling your services for one of your trainers, it's pretty easy to sell. But then sort of jumping onto a sales call, selling someone else's product to someone that you've never met before, who are pretty cold. They've just clicked a link and they're at the top of the funnel, a little bit of curiosity, so they've jumped on a phone call. It's, you know, it's quite an abrupt difference, and it can be quite difficult to kind of make that transition and calibrate. So, yeah, man, what did you find over the first couple of months? What did you do that helped you calibrate and start to win the trust really quickly?
Yeah. Again, a few things that I had to learn and become really good at that I wasn't at the start through that journey, but something that comes to my mind straight away is asking better questions, asking questions for starters, understanding what this person in front of me or on the phone wanted, understanding their problems, being able to listen and dive into that deeper and then provide a solution. That to me was kind of the skill that I had to learn, and had to learn how to do that really well, because fitness was different. I could just get them to like me and know me and trust me, and that was enough to get the sale. But on the phone remotely, I didn't have that. So something that I really invested a lot of time into, with not just your coaching, but practicing it in everyday life as well, which is another thing why I love sales so much. The learnings that I got through that, the ability to ask high quality questions is not just going to help you in a sales business and a sales call. It's going to help your relationships. It's going to help your family. It's going to help everything that you do in life. To be able to ask better quality questions and listen, and actively listen, they're probably two of the skills that I wasn't great at to start in my head, so I wanted to get better at, that really made a difference for me through that space.
And you picked up really quickly, and you know, I did see that you sort of jumped in. It was hard at the start, but as you have the background in business and sales, you were able to calibrate pretty quickly, and then hit some good results. You I think we were on 3 offers. You were selling 3 different. You went through. We sold a sales product. We sold a B2B, a business coaching product, and then a business opportunity product. You know, I think they were sort of ranging from $6,000 up to maybe 20,000 in that ballpark. At the end, you're on a sales team. So what did you like about the career itself when you were sort of in the hot seat? What were some of the things you enjoyed, and what were some of the challenges or the things that you sort of maybe didn't like so much?
I think they're actually quite related, those two questions, the challenges and the things that I didn't really like too much. That was the bit that was appealing to me, because I want to be the best individual in all aspects of my life. And I'm very passionate about that. And I not only do I want to achieve that, but I just really enjoy that journey. And I saw that journey in the sales. It's something that I wasn't, I would say, good at the start, and I had to put in the work, and it wasn't natural to me because it was such a change to what I was doing. So learning the skills and understanding how to be better in that space was something that I needed to do, but I was uncomfortable as hell. You know, my safety of getting people to like me, which something that I found quite easy just in life in general. I love people. I love connecting with people. And then not having that, you know, on the one call close, or having that to a certain extent, I was uncomfortable through that space. So I had to learn, and I had a choice, right? The way I saw it is, you know, this is tough. This is tough. I can choose to invest the time, energy, and effort into getting better at this, or I could leave. You know, because I don't think in many things in life you can be half in, half out, and be successful at it. And I made the choice to go fully in, and it was those pieces that I wasn't comfortable with. They were the things that stuck, that really got me interested, and I could get better at this. I'm surrounded with great people, great team. if I get better at this and invest the time, it's going to impact on all areas of my life.
And when you say all in, I think some people underestimate what all in means in this space. Some people think about the high ticket space as we were on the Gold Coast, the golf course. You get a full calendar of appointments and it's just easy and you sort of go about your life. And if you don't have calendar appointments, you can just, get on with your day and just hope that more land in tomorrow. But the reality is quite different. And so when you say all in, I know for you were all in and fully laser focused. Now, what does that look like in terms of a time commitment, in terms of a lifestyle? Are you able to, you get flexibility, but sometimes you're not very flexible. Sometimes you're all in. So for you, what did that look like?
Yeah, for all in for me it looked like a decision that I made early. I made that decision to be all in. And in terms of time, well, if I wasn't on a call, 12 to 13 hour days was what I chose to invest into this space. Probably longer if you look at the prep. Like any good athlete, they need to warm up, they need to do their mobility at the start of before their match. I treated that with a high importance. I needed to get myself in the right headspace in the morning. I need to invest time and energy there. For me, that's walk on the beach, coffee, time with my partner, even gratitudes, meditation, ice bath, whatever it works for you. But for me, it was a lot of that stuff. So that was my pre-game. So if you include those hours in it, that would be a 16, 17 hour day probably. So everything from the morning routine right the way through, maybe for the first couple of calls, maybe you listen to a couple of the calls that you've done really well. And then, you're on calls, you've got calls booked in your calendar, you're on calls, you're in that space of whatever you need to work on at the time. For me, I always had a skill that I was working on, listening better, asking better questions, understanding their problems, asking impact or consequence questions to enhance their problems so that they could see it. So I was focusing on that throughout calls. And then if there was a space in the day where you had a no-show, I had a no-show. For me, I'm all in, right? So I'm not going to go to the beach for an hour or I'm not going to do anything else. I'm going to invest that time back into learning and I'm going to prep myself for the next call. Because I made that decision. I think that, I look back on my journey and if I wasn't all in and willing to put in those 12, 13 hour days, willing to have that, small impact on my life at the time for a big return and a big result, that would have been a problem if I didn't make that decision. So for me, it was the long days, it was the impact on my life, and it was making the decision that I will learn what I need to learn and I'm going to be epic at this no matter what.
So it's not true that you can, be a $36,000 closer whilst, being at the beach and, just having a really flexible lifestyle and inbound, it's not possible to do that effectively and you need to be all in. Is that was your experience?
Yeah, I mean, maybe it is. I didn't figure out how to do it, but maybe it is. But for me, it was, no, if you want to be good or great at anything at life, you got to invest the time, effort and energy to be able to get there. And if you don't want to do that, they're the main, ingredients to that recipe of success in my business experience and in my opinion.
Fitness pro, mate, you're a beast. You're filling out that chair. I think we might have to get a new chair after this segment, this episode, dude. So, but you've been in that lifestyle, the fitness lifestyle, and I think the high performance lifestyle. So, what were some of the rituals that you applied to kind of keep yourself in the right mental state, the right physical state, the right emotional state? Talk us through your routine. Yeah,
routine is everything to me still to this day. Even on weekends, I don't just do it on Monday to Friday. I'm doing it every day because I want to be not just the best version of myself, but I want to enjoy life as much as I can, right? I've spoken to enough people that are 50, 60, 70 years of age and learning about their regrets or what they wish they did. I chose to learn off those and treat them as lessons. So for me, that is looking after myself. So in terms of answering your question of rituals and stuff, well, I'm up early every day. So 5 a.m., mate, rain, hail, shine, up. For me, body movement is important. So I'll go for a walk. I'll get a coffee. I'll go for a walk. I'll listen to a podcast. Maybe I won't listen to anything. It depends what I'm feeling on the day. Maybe I'll just move the body and just allow my thoughts to process, just to clear some bandwidth mentally. Mate, I love training. I love the gym, mobility. You know, I love that stuff. And then for me, you know, people think if you want fitness results, well, it's about what if you want to lose weight, it's about the food that you put into your body, which I totally agree with. But if you want to get results anywhere, it's about the thoughts that you feed yourself as well. So if you think about thoughts as food, well, mate, if you're telling yourself that you're shit, or if you're rattled off a call, or if you're having negative thoughts in your mind, and if you keep feeding that, well, that's exactly what you're going to turn into. So for me, it's understanding how important that is, and feeding my body with good thoughts, right? And understanding that I will invest the time, effort, and energy to be elite at this. Understanding, revisiting some of the wins that I've had, and just filling up my cup of confidence so that when I go into the call, I've got everything that I need. I'm well armed, I'm well equipped, I'm prepared for whatever happens in that call. So for me, mate, rituals, that is the key for kind of everything that I've done in life, all the success that I feel I've had and where I've done really well. It all goes back to how I was treating myself outside of that environment. What rituals was I doing? How was I looking after myself? How was I showing up? What was my mindset like? Was it positive? Was it negative? So for me, mate, that's everything.
Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying the podcast so far. If you want to get in touch with us, go to the Closers Dojo on Facebook. This is a Facebook group, free Facebook group for anyone looking to sell or build a sales team. We do sales trainings in there. We share a lot of resources. I'm sure you'll get a lot out of it. You're treating your career and your career, your results, and also each day, and even down to each call, like game day. You're really focused on sort of putting your best foot forward for each of those things. You saw, we both did. We saw a lot of sales reps come through in the time we were working together. Over the journey, like in business, we see people who come and go and who can't cut the mustard. So what are some of the things that you saw and you see, and maybe opinions on the mistakes that some people make when they come into this space and the things that really hold them back?
Oh God, there's a lot, and I've made a lot of them as well. I feel as though knowing that you're going to make mistakes and understanding that you're not the best out there, there is always someone better. So you need to, well, for me, I wanted to work as hard as what I needed to be the best. And when I made a mistake, I didn't want to stay in that space and beat myself up. I wanted to take the learning from that. So I didn't want to get emotionally caught up. I wanted to say, okay, what did I do wrong there? Cool. Put that on a pin in the brain and understand that moving forward. So the people that I have seen not be successful in sales, in business, in whatever they invest their time, effort, and energy in life, they're just not willing to understand that you can keep learning. You can make mistakes, but you can learn from them and get better. And having resilience, understanding that it's not going to work perfectly the first time and you're going to fail. You're going to fail. Successful people are people that just failed and never give up. I've never spoken or heard a presenter or spoken to anyone that's been successful that hasn't spoken about failures in their time or mistakes that they've made. And it can't be boring as well. Like imagine if you just entered into a business and just, your success graph was just a constant growth upwards. Like probably be funny at the time, but the learnings from me and my journey have been through, making mistakes and learning from them and then being better at it the next time. So that's probably a key thing that, when I've seen people exit the industry and haven't been able to cut it, they just maybe some resilience might have helped, and understanding that they're going to make mistakes, not too much pressure, and just, feeding your body with those positive thoughts and telling yourself that you can do it, and backing yourself. Backing yourself is a really important part as well. Negative self-talk, I've seen people exit out of industries and jobs because of negative self-talk, and that's really something that you can change and can improve on.
Rejection's pretty brutal in this game, and I call it a sport. Rejection's hard in this sport of high ticket sales. It comes hard and fast, and if you're not on your game, it can really throw you off your kilter, and a bad call can turn into a bad day, which then turns into a bad week and a bad month. So you obviously felt it. You felt the harsh realities of consistent rejection, especially early. What do you do to kind of get out of that? What did you do mentally to kind of make sure you're not cultivating a state of negativity for the next call, and so you can wipe the slate clean?
Yeah, mate. I'm not sure. I never got rejected. Never got a no. So no.
Oh yeah, that's right. Actually, yeah, 100% closer. Yeah, we got the goat here.
Yeah, absolutely. It happened every single day, right? So for me, it was a shock when I first started, right? Like just having that, rejection. Even though I'm putting in all of my effort and I've done my pre-game and but why is it still not working? I found myself falling into that victim mentality at the start, and why does this happen to me? And I've done everything right. I had to get rid of that. And I just had to learn how to be thick-skinned and resilient. And when you get it, great, go on to the next person. Great, they're not interested for whatever reason. Or maybe there's something in your process that you didn't get right. Use that as learning. What didn't I get right in that process? Ask yourself the questions and then take the learnings from that into the next call. And I really feel like that's the only way. Well, for me personally, that's the only way that I could grow in this space. Because if I allowed that to just take over me and really affect me mentally, not only wouldn't I have been successful, but it would be a nightmare. It wouldn't be enjoyable at all. And my life and especially my motto this year is I want to do more of the stuff that I enjoy and less of the stuff that I hate. So if I'm in a role where you get rejected all in life, but in a role where I'm getting rejected and that's really taking hold of me, that would just be, not enjoyable. So find your own way to flip it. For me, it was maybe I had to take a step back from the phone. Maybe I needed a couple of minutes just to clear my head. Maybe I needed to reset. So yeah, for me, it was just having almost like a mental switch. And for me now, I can switch it on and off. So if I start feeling emotional about something, or if I get reactive, for me, it's just having the ability to have space and pause and step back, maybe not physically, but emotionally, and then go, okay, I feel myself building up some like anger or something that's not going to work in my favor here. And then learning what to do from the back end. So then saying, okay, instead of being reactive, I want to be proactive. How can I shape this and learn from it? So, mate, all of those. There's a lot, but all of those, I feel.
Yeah. I mean, there's some real challenges with it. Like anything that's worth doing, there's challenges. And you said before, 36K best month, and within your career of high ticket, you've earned more than you've probably ever earned, even as a business owner. So the upside's really there. What were some of the best parts of being in high ticket, being in remote sales? Because I mean, the podcast, we're sort of, dedicated to people who are in the space or looking to get into the space of closing. Like, what are some of the benefits that you found?
Mate, so many. Like money for me, I was chasing the money. So that is a big benefit, right? I'm not embarrassed to admit it. Like, I love money and I love the opportunity that comes with money. You can have a better lifestyle. You can go on holidays. You can, eat the food that you want to eat at the restaurants.
Go to Bali,
get some faith teeth. Yeah, that's right. So for me, the money was a big part of it. But do you know what I loved, man? I loved just being in a team of high performing individuals that show up every day and just want to get it. I was about to swear there, but I'm not. I don't
swear.
know.
Say it.
They just want to fucking get it. They show up. They absolutely just perform every fucking day, no matter what. Everyone's got stuff going on in the back of their life. Everyone. Nobody goes through life and just have this like perfect sunshine and daisy field and rainbows time. It doesn't happen. So being in a community and being in a team with people that just show up no matter what and fucking perform on the day when they need to perform, I loved being in that space. Because that space for me challenged me. And that space for me made me better. And that space for me allowed me to grow in that circle so that I can take the learnings out and implement that into all future businesses that I build, into relationships, into everything that I do in life. So for me, the money was great, but it was about the team, man. It was about being in that environment with people just showing up and just getting it is what I loved. And I miss it when I'm taken away from that. I miss being in that environment.
Let's talk about that, because that was quite a team that you were part of when we were working together.
Elite,
I'd say one of the greats.
Yeah,
and great. The stats were pretty profound, and $1 million months, 50% close rates. Really nearly 90% cash collection rates, and you're a big part of that. And I think a big part of the success was the team culture that we had there. So, I mean, what do you think creates a great team culture, and then what kind of sabotages that as well from that experience as well?
Yeah, I think, Chris hasn't paid me to say this, but I think a strong leader, like a good leader leads from the front, right? So a good leader is able to get everybody together, is able to show how it's done because they've done it before. They're willing to get their hands dirty. And if you're being led like a captain of a football team, right? Like if you go like the Panthers and Nathan Cleary, like that dude gets out there and he fucking leads from example, right? And he does what's necessary and he'll throw his body on the line every single time. And because you're surrounded by that and you're getting led by a person that's doing that, you want to do exactly the same. So for me, being led by someone that's just elite and been there, done that, and still getting better at it, that was a big driver for me. But the other things is, the other team members, man, there's nowhere to hide, dude. Like, you can't show up in a team like that, have a victim mentality. You can't show up and, put on a shit day's performance or shit week's performance. You're going to get pulled up on it and you're going to get called out. I love that. I absolutely love that because that's the only way, the best way in my eyes to get better. How can you not get better in an environment like that? I only had one choice, and it was I want to stay here as long as I can and grow from this. And man, all that what I've just said, like even me revisiting that now and talking about it, like it just pumps me up, dude. It's a really great space to be.
And we're talking about it in the past tense because you're now sort of in your business. You've graduated, I'd say, and I always say the only kind of career better than being a great closer is being the business owner. And sort of being a closer is the second best career you can have, other than being the entrepreneur or founder of a really, really great company. And I say of a really, really great company because being the entrepreneur of a founder of a startup or something that's in the early phase is really brutal, and it's actually probably better to be a closer. You're probably going to earn a lot more money, and you're going to have a lot less stress.
Yeah.
But you've moved on now. You've got a business coaching business, and tell us, what are you doing now, man? Where have you been? What's been happening besides the teeth?
Just in Bali, just getting a tan, fake teeth. That's about
Mate, the brand, it's a strike. You've been spending a bit of time at the beach as well.
Sunny coast, man. I love it. So where have I been? What have I been doing? So just again, like this year for me, the focus is do more of the stuff that I enjoy and less of the stuff that I hate. Too often do I see not just business owners, but people just do stuff that they hate and then they complain about it, but they're still doing it. For me, I don't want to fall into that trap. And again, I want to learn. I choose to learn off those people and those circumstances. So for me, it's doing more of the stuff that I enjoy. So what do I enjoy? Well, I love business. So I've been looking for business opportunities. Mate, I want to be part of a team. I want to be improving myself. So what have I been doing? Well, a lot of personal development. I love audiobooks. I love, just trying to not just improve my business acumen and knowledge and techniques that I coach to my clients, but also emotionally intelligent. I'm probably like a lot of other people listening out there, but I've had some stressful situations in life. They probably have as well, and there's probably going to be more to come. So if I can learn how to deal with them better and not have an impact on any areas of my life and be able to handle that really well and then grow from it, that's really attractive for me. So I've been doing a lot of, self-growth development. I love coaching my clients. That it kind of always keeps me on the ball, even if I'm not part of like a team every day, which I am. I've got different teams that I work with, but if I'm not in an immediate kind of team like the closing group that we're in, my clients help keep me accountable, and I need to show up for them. I need to be the best person I can be, and I need to help them with their business because I'm really passionate about that. So yeah, man, that's what I've been doing, and there's a couple of business opportunities that have popped up, and mate, I'm looking forward to kind of taking them on and moving on to the next realm as well, which is super exciting.
Mate, I'm pumped for you as well with what you've got on the plate. It's all pretty exciting. We were talking just before about the culture and the team culture and being surrounded by a group of guys and girls who are high performers, who are all sort of on the same page, who are all holding each other accountable to a high standard, holding each other to a really high standard, and sort of you get that, everyone grow. The rising tide lifts all ships. So when you've got a culture of high performance, generally you're either you sort of rise or you're going to drown. But that's all done via Slack and Zoom, and you're you're at home, you're remote, you're sort of in your living room in your pajamas or your underwear. Be interesting to talk about that, and so how you can feel. It's almost like a tangible culture, isn't it? So it's almost like this tangible feeling, but it's all sort of through the technology, like jumping on Zoom calls, jumping on Slack. A lot of people who are listening to the podcast are probably just wanting to get out of an office environment and get into a remote role, but worried that they're going to lose the camaraderie that comes with being in the office around the water cooler. What can you speak to with that?
I'm someone that loves that camaraderie. I'm someone that loves that community. I still have it. You know, the company that I'm working with, business coaching, mate, the leaders are epic. They're awesome. So I get amongst them as much as I could. But you're right, dude. Like the dream for me with having to go into the gym and having to be a personal trainer every day, you know, COVID hit, which was, you know, could be a blessing in disguise for a lot. It pivoted a lot of industries. And then the working from home was a dream, right? You know, oh, dude, imagine if I could just be at home all day and just choose my own hours and work and not have to go anywhere. That was the dream for me, as kind of against what I enjoy as it is. It was the dream. And then I got into that space, and there were some times, dude, where I was like, man, I miss that environment. You know, I miss the water cooler and the conversations that happen around it. So, mate, for me, I was getting into a hole as well because I missed it, but I wasn't doing anything about it, right? So I had to find other areas of my life where I could go out and be social. The gym for me is really good. You know, going to order a coffee and having a chat with the coffee dude. That's really important for me. So I guess for me personally, I can't speak for everyone else, but I can speak for me personally. It's that I loved that role, and there was so much cool stuff that's happened in that role. And Slack was epic as well. Like Slack was really cool, and I still felt a part of that community. So it ticked a lot of boxes. But for me, it was just I found it in other areas of my life. That was really the answer for me. I got it in other areas of my life because for me that is important.
And I think you can still, it's still so tangible. It's almost visceral, but it's hard to describe. You know, the fact that you're in an environment where there is a culture. The culture exists, but it's all it's virtual. It's a virtual culture, and I think you still need to look after yourself in a remote world. Like if you're working from home. There's definitely nuances to that to maintain your mental state. If you're 15, 16 hours a day, working 12 hours a day on calls, preparing. I think a lot of closers do the same thing. A lot of people in remote business are the same way inclined. You know, they're spending all of their morning preparing for work. They're in work for a huge portion of their day, you know, from sun up to sundown, and often you've never left home. So. I think it's super important to kind of look after, your state. I think some of your tips about walking, getting out, going to the gym, sort of making an effort to get out of the house, look after your fitness, look after your mental health is pretty key.
Yeah, absolutely. And mate, again, like my motto this year, if it feels good, do more of it. So that's going to be different for everybody, right? But for me, those were the things that they were a non-negotiable. That was happening every day. And if it didn't happen, well, if I had a shit day or if I wasn't able to bounce back for a bad call, if I didn't hit my numbers, well, I've got one person to blame for not doing the pre-game correctly, right? So that came back on me. So understanding the importance of doing what you need to do to feel really good, to start your day or to be in that space, mate, so important.
What were your biggest lessons? This is a question without notice, but what are some of the biggest lessons or learnings or things that you've taken away from being a closer in that environment, having to handle objections, make really quick friends on the phone, and then move into authority and almost coach someone by the end of it? Go from having being a stranger, unknown, to being quickly liked within 30 seconds, to then after that taking authority, moving through understanding their problems, getting them to share with you things that they probably never shared with anyone before, that they keep, at the suppressed pain points, problems, fears, frustrations, and then getting to the point where they're taking your advice, you're giving them recommendations, you're handling their fears and fears and objections and concerns, you're turning them around, you're getting them to pay. what were some of your biggest lessons and learnings, things that we worked on, things that you were that you improved on?
Mate, so much. It's hard to pinpoint a couple. For me, it was the ability to slow down everything, even what I was doing in my head. So I've got a script in front of me, right? And I've got to be following those scripts, and I've got to tick all these boxes here. But I've also got to listen to the person, allow them to feel heard, and then ask the correct questions. And maybe it's not going to be to the script. Maybe I've got to go off script and just be myself, and more so just be that person that is just actually curious and genuine. I feel as though, you know, for me personally, if I was being sold to, someone could have the perfect script and nail all the boxes that they need to tick, and then I could just actually like someone a little bit better because they're more conversational, more someone I can relate to. That person's always going to get my money, right? Obviously, it depends on what they're selling, but that person's always going to be more appealing for me to work with or purchase of. So for me, mate, it was all the learnings and all the stuff you mentioned, right? And there was so many learnings in that everywhere through how to intro a call properly, you know, how to frame it, ability to ask questions, the right questions, listen for those gold nuggets and be able to dive in deeper to those to educate the person that it's not just one problem, but it's going to, or it is just one problem, but it's going to have a big impact, which is maybe something they haven't thought of before. So it's all the technical stuff, right, which I really enjoyed learning that. And again, now that I've taken into my life and made it better for me in all aspects of life. But it was just not getting caught up in that and just being a human being as well, and not a robot reading through a script. And for me, that allowed me to pour my passion back into it, right? Because I love people and I love talking with people, and I love connecting with people and learning about them. So for me, one of the biggest learnings was, all the techniques and the skills that I learnt through being a high ticket closer, but being not losing myself in the process, being myself as well, and that felt a lot more authentic and a lot better for me than getting all the stuff right.
Love that, man. What advice do you have for people who are looking to get into this space? I mean, you got into it in a pretty unconventional manner on the golf course after I'd piped that long bomb down the middle. And it just came to us that you maybe need to get into high ticket because I'd hit such a killer shot.
That's right.
But most people that doesn't happen to. They're not lucky enough to play golf with me. So what advice do you have? I mean, what do you think would be the key for someone who is working a job, they're in a cubicle, they feel like this is going to be a really good career for them, but they're stuck, they want to know how to get into it. What do you think are the steps?
Start to play golf.
Yeah. Definitely.
Start to play golf.
Number one.
Number two, closely followed behind, is for me, it was whatever I do, be passionate while doing it, right? If I look back on my career and the different industries I've been in and the different opportunities that I've made work and my biggest successes, well, they've all got one thing in common, and that it's, I'll tell you what, I've got a lot of passion and a lot of energy to pour into those things. So my advice to answer your question would be passionate, be yourself, be passionate, and learn how to be passionate, learn how to show that passion, learn how to allow that passion to come through everything that you do. Because for me, it charges my batteries doing stuff like this or like closing calls or whatever. There was a time where I was doing them and feeling drained after, and I felt that was a really good indicator that I was missing something. I wasn't doing something right. I shouldn't be feeling like this. And you can imagine what that equated to after 13 hours and then day after day after day. So finding how to show my passion and how to leak my passion into what I do. Maybe that's the call. Maybe that's the role. Maybe it's the goals that you got to hit. Maybe if you want a $40,000 a month, be passionate about it. What is that going to do for your life, hitting 40 grand? What is that going to do? Allow that excitement and that passion to come through all of the more granular tasks that need to be done on a daily basis. So that's the thing for me, and staying connected with what's important to you and allowing your passion to pour through it.
I love that, man. It is about, sometimes it's really up to you. Often, always, it's up to you to find the energy. It's not up to the company to say, hey, here's our product, here's why you should be passionate about it. So if you want to be excited about what you're selling, you have to be excited just in general. I think you have to be shooting towards a goal, like you say. You have to have a big why, but then you have to find how can I be passionate about this product? What can I get behind? Is it the results? Is it the mechanism? Is it some of the stories that I've heard of successful clients or students that have gone through it? And so I think a lot of the time people who are selling something they feel not passionate about, it's really going to crush your results. And so it's either your responsibility to get off that offer and find something you can be passionate about, or find something you're actually passionate about on what you are selling, so you can show up each day with a bit more enthusiasm.
100%, brother. And when I heard you explain that, be on an offer and sell something that you're not passionate about, like that just sounds like a nightmare to me. That would be draining. That would probably have an impact on other areas of my life if I'm doing something that I'm just finding shit and not enjoying, but that's going to impact other areas of my life. So, mate, I agree absolutely what you're saying. Like, you need to find out what makes you passionate and then use that and charge it up every day and then have that as your secret weapon. Because you can get all the skills right, but for me, when I was missing that was the element that was missing. That was the missing piece. So when I got that right, everything was flowing for me. It's going to be different for everybody to find what that is. But my advice would be find it and use it.
What was the last question as well? Question without notice. What's the most annoying objection that comes up and that you struggle to kind of overcome?
Oh, gee whiz, the most annoying one. Mate, the partner thing, even if you asked at the start of the call and tried to prevent, or even got in contact with them before, hey, mate, are you in control of the finances, or is this something that you might need your partner on the phone? Even if you did all that stuff, you got to the end of the call, you feel as though you've done a really good job, you've poured your passion into it, you ticked all your boxes that you needed to tick, and they go, man, mate, it sounds really good. I just need to talk to my partner about it. And I just sit on the end of the phone, and that was probably a doozy.
It's hey, mate, I said I could make the decisions, but what I failed to tell you was if it was more than $150, I am going to have to bring my partner in because we make joint financial decisions above $150. Sorry.
Yeah. And then I had that reactive moment of, dude, I just fucking asked that at the start of the thing, but obviously you can't say that. So that was the thing that was, constantly popping up for me. Yeah.
Gotcha, man. Well, listen, man, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the pod. I'm sure there's a lot of value there for the listeners. Mate, you've got a wealth of experience and knowledge in not only closing, but business. And, man, excited to see, the next business take shape and those teeth continue to shine, man. So
thanks for having me, bro. I loved it.
Nice, man.
So good.